Welcome back, guys, into another film breakdown. I'm Nick here with Derek Bell, and we are here back breaking down some tape this week from the Titans and then the Ravens game. Big win for the Steelers last week by the skin of their teeth, and another big game coming up here for supremacy in the AFC North against the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore tomorrow at 1. But we are going to break down some tape. Derek, this play right here, our first play is going to be something that we've covered really all season. And the Steelers are in what looks to be cover one. It's because of their blitz tendency. It's cover one, and you're going to see a Yankee concept, a high-low Yankee concept that's going to draw Minkah Fitzpatrick out of the play. The issue is now, as you'll see, this is a blatant miscommunication from Joe Hayden and Minkah Fitzpatrick. They do not communicate it. And Corey Davis is going to be open on this wide-open crosser. But luckily the blitz gets home. So, Derek, kind of what do you see here outside of that that's just plaguing the Steelers here?
Yeah, I mean, you've got your corners playing like a full 2 yards outside shade. So they're both kind of trying to funnel in their guys to Minka. You got these like nasty or tight splits by the receivers that kind of let you know they're probably going to be running some type of crossing concept like Yankee. You can actually see Joe Hayden point to Minka like we see him do from time to time through this play. He's going to point. He's looking at him right now. He points like, come take my guy. I got you. Minka doesn't ever see it. And TJ, beats a double team to get a sack. And I don't know how Tannehill even holds on to this ball, but it's just the Steelers are really struggling with this concept. And, we saw it against Philly. They did get beat on it on the Darius Slayton touchdown, which we covered. We covered it, them blowing it against the Eagles. They blew it again last week. Luckily, the pass rush is really it's saving them right now from a lot of big plays. So.
Yeah, it's the cover one blitzes that are really starting to show these cracks. But the Steelers are starting to do less and less cover one blitzes and more cover three, cover two. So they'll drop Edmonds back with Minkah more and more. But also the issue is, this is, as we said before, this is a zombie call they've had in their playbook since the LeBeau days. And teams are starting to really attack it. But the issue is they've switched the rules around so much. So we saw last week against the Browns 2 weeks ago, it was actually Hayden staying down and Minkah staying over top. Now they switch it again, trying to probably mess with Tannehill's eyes, and it's a miscommunication. We've talked about miscommunications in the secondary all year. It was more of a problem earlier in the year, but obviously they are still here. Derek, I'm just going to ask, we don't do this a ton, but how would you mainly fix this? Is it like blitzing less, or would you just go to a lot of cover two looks and try to avoid cover one kind of at all costs? Because Minkah doesn't even look comfortable in it.
Yeah, I know we talked about that a little bit earlier. It just seems like he's second-guessing himself about where he's supposed to be a little bit. He doesn't seem to be playing as fast on some of these single high looks as he was last year. I think, like, part of it's what we've talked about, like them switching up the calls. Like some weeks they've, had him cut those underneath routes. Some weeks they've wanted him to stay over top. I do think the amount of blitzing that they're doing is putting the secondary in some binds, and I do think that it's making them look worse than they've actually played. But I think it's just consistency. Like, Minkah needs to be more consistent and, have more of like a quick trigger on where he's going to go. And I think that the Steelers probably need to simplify this and stick to a call. We've talked about in weeks past of them maybe trying to disguise less on defense and just stick to the play call and just focus on execution, because I feel like that's kind of gotten them out of position as well a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with that a lot. The Steelers do need to fix this up, and they've been trying to do it all year. We'll see if they can do it this week, because you never know. The Ravens can try and take a shot it's on a similar play, especially with Hollywood Brown there. All right, so second play of this game, we're going to talk a little bit about the second half offensive struggles. The Steelers did struggle on offense. a little bit. Plays like this are why. And Ben didn't have the greatest second half. It wasn't all bad for him, but plays like this you don't want to see. So Derek, kind of what goes wrong on this play? What do you see?
So the Steelers are in their 11 personnel, I believe. Yep. And the Titans are kind of disguising this right now, but they end up rolling into cover three. The Titans asked their inside linebackers to like carry seam routes. So you see like Jayon Brown kind of run with Juju here and open up his hips. It's something that not every NFL team does. Like, in fact, most of them don't want them to do this, but Evans and Brown are pretty fluid, like in pass coverage, I think, especially Jayon Brown. We saw the amazing play that he made on the final Steelers offensive possession. But my issue with this play, and this is probably like the worst play that I thought Ben had on Sunday. Granted, it wasn't, costly like some of the unluckier interceptions that he threw, but this play bothers me, man, because this was on tape that the Titans, when they did go single high, they asked their linebackers to carry. Juju's not open here. This is trying to fit a pass into a window that's just not there. But Deontay, they actually have a perfect play call. Like, Deontay's running in right behind this linebacker, and he's wide open. I mean, Ben needs to anticipate this throw, even if it's a touch throw in the middle of the field, just to pick up the 15, 20 yards. It's in his vision. He's open. This is just one like we're used to him making. This is kind of the area where I felt like he's been the most rusty coming off the injury. It's been like kind of those anticipatory throws over the middle in the intermediate areas.
Yeah, and to be fair to Ben, I definitely think the pressure affects him to a degree here. Filer just completely whiffs on a blitz from the DB. Filer's got to make this block. He lunges forward. DB swims over it. That's just bad technique, bad pass pro technique by Filer. And this is something we haven't talked too much about on here, but I think the offensive line has been they're fine, but I don't think they're as good as they've been at the height of this decade. I think they've done well with the injuries they've dealt with. Chuks played well, but Filer, man, I mean, he's been great as a puller in the run game, but I think in pass pro we've definitely seen him have issues, thanks to stuff like this. I think maybe if Filer holds us up, Ben does scan back and find Deontay. So while if you're Ben, you definitely got to make that read. Filer's also got to pick this up. So this is not just on Ben; it's also Filer. Because things that don't go well up front can trickle down and up to the second level here in the passing game. And this was almost a pick. Ben actually had decent placement on this. If he didn't, this definitely could have been picked by Jayon Brown.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ben's got to make that play. Filer's got to make that play. Hopefully they do on Sunday because they're going to need it because the Ravens love to send the house. All right, so our third play, we're going to highlight the run defense. I think we kind of have to highlight the run defense. Given how the Steelers defense shut down Derrick Henry for the most part on Sunday. And we're going to highlight Alex Highsmith here, rookie out of Charlotte. Kevin Dotson and Chase Claypool, they get more of the headlines, but Alex Highsmith is quietly having a very good year, not just on defense, but on special teams. But this is a really good play by him. So what you're going to see is here, the Titans are going to run a split zone. Okay, so what does that mean? So you're going to get outside zone footwork, but this tight end's going to come across, try to kick out Highsmith. And what Highsmith's going to do is he's actually going to ride Jonnu Smith in to pinch the line, and essentially it allows him to not get blocked here by this tight end. It's a great job. He reads the footwork, pinches the line, the tight end can't get to him, and Highsmith gets in there for a really, really nice play. It's a savvy play. TJ Watt did this earlier in the game. He's clearly watching that. He's noticed it on tape. This is savvy veteran stuff from Alex Highsmith. This is a fantastic play. This is a veteran-level play. Not all guys can recognize, this is split zone or outside zone and ride the tail like that and pinch this line so you can't get this kick out. That's really savvy stuff. Teach tape stuff from Alex Highsmith, a rookie. What do you kind of have to add to this, Derek? I really like what Highsmith does, but I think you like Joe Hayden kind of coming down here as a corner.
Yeah, man, that's one thing I really will I've always appreciated about Hayden, um, Nelson. Of course, we know Mike Hilton. He gets all the recognition for the blitzing and the run support and stuff like that. But I love the Steelers' corners' willingness to tackle in the run game. And granted, Derrick Henry's kind of stonewalled here. He doesn't have really anywhere to go. But I think a key to the Steelers' run defensive success has been look how many guys are on the football right now. I mean, there's 5 guys there on Derrick Henry. And a guy like that, you don't want him in a lot of one-on-one situations, even if it is a linebacker or a corner. But, gang tackling like that, that's a big part of why I think they were able to slow him down. You want to meet him with as many bodies as you possibly can. I also like what Spillane does here. I feel like he's in the right gap, even if Highsmith doesn't make this play. I like his eyes, staying square to the line of scrimmage, not overcommitting. Overall, just a really good play, and you can't really say enough about Highsmith. I mean, you kind of covered it all, but that's teach tape stuff for a guy that's only getting a dozen snaps a game. I mean that's you don't see that kind of stuff from rookies.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
really encouraging.
on the backside, watch Bud Dupree just throw the left tackle to the side. He's fantastic.
Awesome.
Dead. Good job by Chris Wormley to work back across the face of this tackle and get back into pursuit on the gang tackle. It's a full team effort. Highsmith makes the first initial play, but the whole team gets involved on this, and it's something you really love to see. Even Minka comes up and helps out at the end there. So it's really good to see from everybody involved. It's truly a team effort to stop Derrick Henry. They needed it to stop an elite running back like Derrick Henry, and they did it. All right, so here we are. We're starting a little bit of the Ravens here. The Ravens are a very, very different team than the Steelers have faced all season. Steelers are kind of built to beat the Ravens, especially with Devin Bush in there, but now he's gone. But Derek, over the course of the season, we've seen this Ravens offense hasn't produced at the level it did last year, but make no mistake, it's a dangerous offense. What do you see on this play?
Kind of a couple staples for what Baltimore likes to do. They like crossing patterns. This is going to be a mesh concept out of 11 personnel. You're going to see Lamar bang this to, I believe that's Nick Boyle. Really good catch, but I believe last time I checked that the Ravens also lead the NFL, I think, in motion. So the motion here kind of creates that kind of leverage for this concept as well. You get to play action, which is something that Lamar really likes. This air raid mesh concept in the red zone, I feel like it's every week that I'm watching a team use it, and it works 95% of the time. This puts a lot of stress on your linebackers to read the different guys, not only in front of them, but also the guys sneaking in behind them. Be interested to see how the Steelers do with that in these scenarios, because we really don't know who's going to be on the field in, nickel or dime on these passing downs with UG3 announced that he's out for Sunday.
Yeah, this is a tough play. I mean, even you can see that the safety up here gets sucked in and then has to fight back. He gets sucked by the motion, fights back. Honestly, he's in really good position. This is really good recovery stuff. Great job by Nick Boyle to bring it in. Good throw by Lamar. Stuff like this in the red zone, we've seen it. A lot of teams do it. The Titans did it a little bit. We didn't see it against the Steelers, but the Titans did do it. I saw the Broncos do it with a running back. Teams do this with a lot of different personnel, and we know running backs are huge in this Baltimore scheme. No Mark Ingram, but J.K. Dobbins is there still. Gus Edwards, so you never know how many looks they have of this. But yeah, it's a really tough one to defend, especially in the red zone. Very potent scheme here, and not one that even top defenses can really stop against. All right, so next play, let's highlight a little bit of this Ravens run scheme, because we know while the passing game is something that they do use a lot, it's the running game. That's their bread and butter. It's Lamar Jackson with his legs, and then the stable of running backs. And this man right here, Nick Boyle, is an elite blocking tight end. He's pretty much like another lineman. They really, really like to use him in these sets. They're in a pistol set, and you can see an H-back. As the H-back here, it is Nick Boyle. And we want to highlight this play because it's really just what this team does. they'll run gap concepts. This is a gap concept. This is trap specifically. This guy would trap this D end. It doesn't exactly work out that way, thanks to the slanting of this Eagles defensive line. But you can see exactly what they do. Motion to force eye candy. It shifts the gaps over. It puts everyone out of run fit, and it opens up this hole right in the middle here. Center Matt Skura just clears out this three deck, and it's gone from there. There's no linebacker there. The motion clears them out. Lamar's legs are a threat, so you have to hold outside contain here, forcing number 47 to come down, and it's an easy 9-yard run. That's how they operate. Derrick, kind of what do you see here from this run game? This is very, very, very much a staple of theirs and what they do.
Right. So, the motion again, that's just – I'm pretty sure that Baltimore runs like motion on almost half of their plays, whether it be run, pass. This creates kind of that open hole up the middle. You see the linebackers start to shift to the left when the motion comes. You see Jalen Mills have to kind of respect the edge and kind of set that just in case Lamar were to pull this down. It's a really difficult play to defend. All these, zone reads or read options that Baltimore can hit you with just makes it really hard on the edges of your defense, because you always have to be aware that, he can pull it down at any time. And even if you do have a guy there to contain, it's about having the right personnel there to get him on the turf. So it's kind of like you said, it kind of highlights everything that makes Baltimore extremely difficult to defend in the run game, because there's just so many different moving parts and variables that you have to account for pre-snap.
Yeah, it's just great blocking by the center too. The one tech has no chance. It seals them off. Very good blocking by the guards up front. They hold it long enough against a really good D line. This is really just textbook stuff, and it's really tough as a defense to try and defend this. And you're going to have a tough time defending it against these running backs too, because the running backs have really good vision. But Steelers, if there's any team that's up to the task, they'll probably be the Steelers, who are an elite run defense. All right, so last play here. This is really another highlighting of a player. We're going to highlight Marcus Peters here, this cornerback up here, for the Baltimore Ravens. They got him in a trade last year for the 5th-round pick, believe it or not. That's a whole steal for the Ravens. But Derrick, kind of what do you see on this play, and what makes this play such a good play by Marcus Peters?
This is the Marcus Peters experience. They're man-to-man. He's going to follow Randall Cobb that's running on this, jet motion. I think most corners, 90% of corners, once they see their guy go here, they're kind of just going to hang out in the flat. They know they're not threatened. He does a good job kind of looking at Watson. All he's going to do is follow his eyes. Watson never looks at anyone else. He knows this crossing route down at the bottom of the screen. I believe that's Brandon Cooks. He's got separation there. Peters just makes a great play on the ball. And from there, he does what he can to get something out after the interception. But this is kind of the Marcus Peters experience, right? So you can pick on him some weeks. He's going to gamble. He's going to bite on pump fakes, double moves. But if you hang a ball out there, he's probably catching it. So very sure-handed corner. He's an opportunistic player that's going to take chances. He's a gambler. So be interested to see if, Pittsburgh tries to go after him on a double move. I think that they will. But Ben's going to have to be careful. Just ball placement has to be good. He can't be, locked in on receivers because, like I said, you can see here he's capable of making some really big splash plays.
Especially in that short, quick passing game, you can definitely basically cheat up on a few plays, try to jump something. And I expect him to be on Deontay Johnson, so that's certainly something to watch because I think I can envision that matchup going two different ways. I can see Deontay just burning him on a 70-yard double move touchdown, or I could see, a quick out route getting jumped for a pick six the other way. I think that's a matchup to watch between two really high-level players, and Ben's going to have to really watch it. Ben's a gunslinger himself, so we'll see kind of how this works out. But I mean, do not be shocked if Marcus Peters gets a pick. He's that type of player. Elite ball skills, a ball hawk, and he's one of the most opportunistic cornerbacks in the NFL today.